How are you?
Good. How are you?
Where are you, Monica?
I'm in my garden in Tuscany, and it's nice and sunny, and finally the summer's coming. Actually, it's good spring, nice temperatures, so it's really, really nice.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm at home and it's great, but it's really, really warm. But, you know, we all love warm weather. So,
That's so true. That's so true. And actually, as a real Tuscan, I have my pizza oven there, as you can see.
And I've had pizza from it, and it's so good.
that's great, ladies. So, are we ready? Please, I really want to know what's going on with August and tell us a little bit more. And I have so many things and so many questions. So let's start, Angela.
Yes. So in August, we have our very first wellness retreat at a very special property that is very close to home to you, Kitsia, and you've actually gotten to come and experience it. And I started working with this property. They have an amazing wellness center, and now being able to go to different countries and see different sides of wellness, that you've got the medical side of it, but then you also have the side of it where you just want to dip your toe into wellness and really start to understand, what does that lifestyle look like. And you got to come and experience a little bit of it. And Monica and I have been talking about this for years, actually, with many of our colleagues in the industry. And so we finally said, okay, let's get together and start with a very small group of people who really want to integrate business with wellness. And what is that going to look like?
Exactly. This is something like that is really close to our hearts, but mostly, well, for those of you who know Angela and I, you know that we are different, very different. In fact, that's why this marriage, we can say, is great because Angela, as you know, is more of a wellness part. She loves all the wellness. And I'm sure if you did any sort of meeting with her, you had her like walking on a treadmill. Okay, that's like normality with Angela. But me, when we first talked about it, I said, okay, I'm dressed in green today, but it's not about the green juice. That's what I always say. So exactly, when we talk about this retreat, I said perfect about wellness, but the scope of this retreat is really trying to balancing out family, personal life, and entrepreneurial life because we know that our jobs, we're always there trying to make everything like super amazing, galactic, and always be ahead of times and our competition, making amazing events. We're a little bit like those ducklings that you see in those calm, nice waters floating, but you don't see the hassle underneath. So we want to, you know, to actually work on a different module. So this is not going to be a conference, a business retreat, or anything. It's actually a work on yourself because there's actually tangible tools that you can use in your daily life to balance out these things. So looking into your how you want to be happy, how you want to take your business forward, and how these all these things align, because if you're happy you're going to see that everything turns out differently, and your attitude mostly towards anything you're going to be doing is totally different, and that's becomes a dragger with anything that reflects around you. So it's a little new.
I totally agree with you. And I think that I'm in the middle between both of you. And I want to share something. For many years, my life was Diet Coke and work, a lot of work. And well, right now I continue to work a lot, maybe not as much as before. Uh, and I continue with my Diet Coke. But I always thought that living this way was because I was very strong until I realized that really the strength doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from clarity. And I truly believe that wellness is not about slowing down your life, it's just living your life with clarity. And sometimes we think that everybody needs us, especially in this industry. We think that the world will fall if we are not there, but it's not true. And you always feel, and I think and that we always feel guilty because we don't have time, and how I'm going to dedicate some time for myself. But in one way or another, you are not taking time from others. You're not taking time. If you want to take care of yourself, you're not taking time from your loved one, from your work, from your clients. You are just taking time from you, time that sometimes you use it just to scroll or to do something like that. You can use that time, it's your time. And this is something that it has to do with, I will not say rituals, because then I know that people like Monica and myself will die if we hear these kind of words that doesn't resonate with us. But I think that it's kind of a discipline of to do something. And today, for example, I practice yoga since I was 40. I'm 54 right now. And before, I never done any kind of exercise in my life because I suck at absolutely every kind of sport. So today, my morning yoga, it's my daily vacation. Sometimes at 4:30 a.m., sometimes at 5 a.m., but it's always my space. Is the moment that change my focus, that changes my mindset, and that actually change my entire day. So this is not magic, this is not, I know that some people, in 1 month they do 10 apps and they have this, I don't know how do you say that, they have these great apps, or they can do six packs, or they can do amazing things. For me this is not my path, but I think that you need discipline and you need tools. And for most of us, we are so busy all the time that we cannot find out those tools individually. We need to have the resources and give some time to find these tools. And this is why I think this retreat is so meaningful, because it's not only about feeling well, it's about being able to improve ourselves. And believe me, if we improve ourselves, we will improve the life of everyone around us.
Kitsia, you're so right because, in our job, at least I can tell you from my experience, because both Angela and I have been through this. And that's why we started brainstorming. We've been coached and we've learned. Okay. So we're not like imagining dragons, but we are all on a hamster wheel. Business comes in, we have to focus, we have to be better, we have to grow up the scale, we have to a lot. And we push our boundaries easily because that comes naturally when you love your job, especially because you don't feel it. But in the end, the problem is that it all comes back to you. And the thing is, we have both realized that slowing down to go to a faster pace is really the key. And to do this, that's why we actually put together not only the wellness, which wellness is not, for you it's yoga. For me it's like driving a convertible with music out loud and just thinking about nothing sometimes. Each of us really has their own little room to focus, to detox, to do nothing, even have the nothing box, okay? Each of us is totally different. So being able to, first of all, find it, understand how to use it, that is really, really important. But second of all, also slowing down and getting off the hamster wheel. And trust me, you need to have courage to decide to do something like that. But I tell you, it's so, so worth it, because once you see clearly, with clarity and objectively, your life, where you're at, but you also have the time and the tools to think of what your aspirations are. Are you really happy in what you're doing? Or how would you be happy? What would you like to do to be happy? And the good thing is that there's tools that we're going to be focusing on to actually create a path. So it's not a one route for everybody, because
Mhm.
everybody will, from the tools, make their own routes, their own way to reach whatever targets they plan to have. And I think it's very, very special and a different approach to what we normally do.
Kitsia, I love how you, when you first came, to one of the retreats, I love that you shared with me. We were walking on the beach and talking, and it was towards the end of it. And you said something to the effect of, I thought you were going to make us walk 10,000 steps and like look at our data and dance and like do all these things. And which I love that. But at the same time, to your point, Monica, I love when you like line 20 people up and ask them all the same question. What is wellness to you? What does it look like? And everyone's answer is different. And so, for me, I had one goal is to move 10,000 steps. And how I got there was a treadmill desk and was, dancing. But most people are like, I mean, I did, but that's how I grew up, right? Like I grew up dancing and doing these things. And so I'm comfortable, but I'm able to bring more energy. And when you meet people where they are, and we talked about what does wellness mean to you, and like you said, you're like it's yoga and having the discipline and the ritual. And I had a mentor say to me once many years ago, he's like looking at my calendar, right, which is like still crazy, like a Christmas tree with all these different colors, but he's the one that taught me you got to look at your weeks and you got to show up for yourself just like you are the top paying client. And if you don't put yourself as a client, you would never, ever, ever set a client up for a meeting and not show up unless you're like dead in a ditch, right? You would never do that. And so he's like, you have to think of yourself as your number one paying client. And so put it on your calendar every single day. And so when I started to colorize all the different meetings and internal work, me time, my family, friends time, I started to see my meetings are in red, meaning I have to do it. My weeks were just all red, and you become very unbalanced, even when we love what we do, but it's not healthy for our bodies when you don't sleep and move and eat correctly. And so being focused on those things, not all at once, but it's like Monica said, we've been through this. At some point in your life, you're gonna have bad things happen to you that hit you, and you don't know how you're going to take it until it happens. When you lose a parent, you lose a dog that sleeps with you every night for 15 years. Those are the things. It's like, how do we get through those things to make sure that we have the time and the space to take care of us? And so, that's something that we're going to talk about at the retreat. And everyone's workbook will be different of what's in it, because we're giving the framework, but which is 80% of it, but the 20% is the customization of what does it mean to you and what's doable for your lifestyle.
I want to share a little bit more about my experience in Masola in this first retreat that Angela invited me. And I will tell you something. In the first moment, I was not interested at all. It was kind of an exchange because I really want her to speak in Cabo. And I said, well, if she's telling me yes, I will have to say yes to her retreat. But I was exactly expecting what Angela just said about technology doing all my steps and this. And, for me, technology is the opposite of wellness. If I do whatever thing, I don't want to measure it. I don't want to measure anything or I get too stressed. So I was thinking about that and I said, okay, I will do it. I love this woman and she's helping me and I will do that. But I will tell you something. One of the biggest gifts I had in my life, and I told you that, Angela, and I'm telling this from my heart, was this retreat in Masolas. And not because something magical happened, but because it gave me something very, 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 very rare. First, time to have real conversations with people that are part of my organization, that we do tons of projects together, but we never have the time to talk like the way the relationship that I developed with Mel. It will be impossible without this retreat because I never have time during my events to do this kind of to have this kind of conversation. And after my walks with you, I gained something that I really appreciate, and that it's clarity. And and this retreat or any retreat will not change my life or anyone's life overnight. But believe me that it helps understand your path, where you are, and what do you need to do. Because as Monica said, wellness is different. There's no definition for wellness, at least for us three. I know. But what I learned after my conversations with you and the time that we spent and the amount of time that I had to spend finally in one beautiful hotel room in a suite, because I'm always in beautiful hotels, but I'm never there because I'm always doing something outside. And I know that when you're responsible for teams, for projects, for so many decisions, especially in this moment, it's like every day, every decision that in the past was like so easy, right now it's so hard and it has so many consequences. Your clarity becomes everyone's stability, your family, your team, everyone's. So this is something that I assure you, because I know these two ladies, I respect them, and I think I understand very well the way they, even though that I don't know how do you get along together. You are the two most different people that I know, but I'm sure that it's something you're gonna get from this retreat is clarity. Clarity to do something that will be better for you. I don't know in this moment what will be, but for sure you will get that. And that's what I love, and that's what I'm really looking forward for this retreat.
But Kita, the funny thing is that, you know, Angela and I, the reason we get along very well, it's very easy, okay? First of all, is, well, there's respect and we love each other. We've known each other for
Yes.
many, many years. Well, we both, I think in the industry, are two of the very, very few, I don't know of any others really, that we're in entrepreneurial networks. For example, I'm a YPOer and Angela is an EOer. And this means that we, other than the hospitality and wedding industry, we are part of other entrepreneurial associations that look a lot into coaching and the sharing and having safe environments and helping each other. So having this retreat where it's made from peers to peers, because we know that our industry is like no other industry. Okay. You can talk to anybody in any other industry and they will not understand your problems or your issue. So even having something that is addressed and made for the hospitality industry, the events pros, but by event pros, that is a big that's a big plus, I tell you, because I found myself in amazing coaching sessions where I was the only one in the events world and hospitality, and everybody had huge companies, amazing, incredible things, but really nothing to share because it's a different world. So even being able to find and finally slow down and meet somebody. And I tell you one thing, in most of these things, sometimes you are just dragged saying, okay, I think I need to go, but you don't know why. And you're going to discover it there while you work because that's going to become your thing. You don't need to know why you're coming. You just need to come and say, I'm open to understanding a little more and see if some tools apply to me
Mhm.
because
And
I'm
I
sure there will be.
and I'm going to, and I really want to share this with my IEDWP community because we have a lot of young entrepreneurs. We have, people from all ages. Some of us, we are looking for clarity to know what's the next step in our business. But some of a lot of our community, they are looking what are they going to do with their lives, with their business, with everything. And we are so eager to learn more, to know more, to understand more the business and our clients and everything. I will tell you what this retreat is going to give you that any other experience or any other thing will give it to you. It will give you space to listen yourself. And this is where you will be able to find out what do you want to do. And and I know, and this is why I was before this, I was in a meeting, and we were setting all the program for our next event in Antigua. And we were looking to all the uh, to all the surveys that we normally do in our events to know what people want to hear. And everybody wants the responses for to make more money, to get better clients, to step into the luxury business. But sometimes we don't even know if that's exactly what we want to do. So the first thing that we need to understand is that we need to give space to listen to ourselves. And believe me, life will make you do it sooner or later. And if you do it sooner, I'm telling this to my young community. I know it's a big investment. Everything it's a big investment. But believe me that your path will be a lot easier. And it may sound, I don't know if it will sound like a cliche, because right now that they say that health is the new wealth and this, but I'm sure from my side, and that my wellness is something different than the wellness of the rest of you. But wellness is for sure leadership. And I think that you cannot lead anyone if you are not able to lead yourself. So this is an investment in yourself. Consider an investment in yourself. Consider an investment in your leadership, and consider a big investment in what we need the most in this time. That, for me, it's being very difficult working in a global community right now, to try to make everybody maybe not happy, but at least not angry.
Right.
That's already a big goal.
So, so this is where clarity is a luxury. So I really hope, tell us a little bit more about what I can tell you from my experience, but tell us a little bit more about what we will see in Mas Olas. It's really easy to get, and it's, if you are from Mexico or from anywhere in Latin America or in the States, especially in California, it's really easy to get, because you get to Cabos, and from Cabo, then it's 1 hour to Masola, and it's right there, one of the most iconic towns, because in Mexico, that is Todos Santos. And by the way, the Hotel California is there. So you can make, so if you're coming all the way from Europe, or from Asia, or from anywhere, from any country in Latin America or wherever, you will be able to put this retreat together. If you want to stay longer with a stay in Cabo, that it will be great. To stay in Todos Santos is if you want like a more relaxed and artistic ambiance. And just staying in, if you are staying in Mas Olas, you don't need to get out there. Believe me, you
Right.
will want to stay there. All the rooms are just incredible. The views, the ocean you have there, and they have amazing food, by the way. And everything is grown there.
That's
It's
great.
amazing. It's amazing. As we said before, we've had the opportunity through clients mainly and events where we have been to all these amazing resorts. We're usually working, so we're not always enjoying. That is something that I've learned to do, is when I'm in a different country, block a few days for yourself to recover and to just rest. Like our body needs rest, just like you plug your computer and your phone in. Like, we are not computers. Like I kind of thought I was until I got really sick. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to either make a decision, put your priorities in place and get better. And the way, like you just said, the way that you show up for people is better. But what I've learned in going to all these different resorts, they sell a wellness program, but as Monica said, just because you have green juice on your menu, or you have a
The
gym
yoga
or a
mat.
spa, a yoga mat, that you have a wellness place. And Masolas is very different, where they fully embody what wellness is in terms of sustainability. You can drink the water from the faucet, from your bathtub. You can eat the food. It's organic. It's grown on property. If you want to walk through the gardens with the chef and pick things out, you can do that. There's so many things that you can do, but the number one thing, for me personally, is it activates the senses in a very quiet way, because it's adults only. It is beachfront. It's very quiet. There's no music, but when you walk through the largest garden in Baja, which they have, you start to feel different and you start to show up differently. You hear the birds and you hear nature. And if you ask any of my team, prior to me getting really sick in 2021, I couldn't go outside and work a wedding without just being in hives. I was allergic to so many things, and I had a lot of personal issues with that, but I never really took the time to slow down and understand what food I was eating and what was I doing that was the root cause. I just kept putting band-aids over it and taking more Zyrtec and putting creams on and spraying things on me, thinking that it would just go away. And so when I really looked at the root cause of it, a lot of it was food. And I was just shocked. And I mean, I still learn new things every day, but the stress that we carry in our gut and the stress that we don't know how to release, that can be released just through simple breath work. And I used to think, when I was like doing meditation and breath work in the beginning, I'm like, these people are weird, like their sounds and breathing. And now I understand the purpose, and I understand like getting down into your gut and how to breathe and how to reset. And when you're in a situation with a client, we are all in heated situations with clients, at least I am, where you have like a mom and a bride arguing, or a bride and a groom, or a couple arguing. And it's like, you're the mediator. How do you fix this situation? And what I've learned is like, we just have to see people and communicate with them the way they need to be communicated with. And so to be able to understand even how to do that, you've got to understand yourself first, and the energy that you bring. Like when any of us, I would venture to say, walk into a room, people know that we're going to be smiling 90% of the time, and we're going to bring an energy that is fun and light, because we've been through really hard things, and we have more empathy that way. And we are relatable to people in a very different way, where before, it's not easy to be vulnerable and talk about problems or anything like that. But behind the scenes for years, Monica, I mean, we've all traveled the world together, and we have these very intimate conversations. And it's like, some of us are going through hard things. It's amazing to me how we share just little simple nuggets, and someone else does it, and then it like changes their life. And so, just by walking and moving, and the messages, that we receive from people, it's like that's what's making a bigger impact than, we can plan more weddings and plan more events, and usually, they're one and done. But again, it's like the peers around you that can help you through some of the hardest times. It's priceless. And that's not something that you can just go out and buy in any group. It's like Monica said, like we really understand what people are going through a lot of the times, and can help guide them. The one thing I will say about Monica that I have learned is, I used to be like very timed and very timeline and rigid, very rigid with time. And then when I started doing stuff with Monica, she's like, just show up here, just buy a plane ticket, or you're being hosted for this, or speak here. And my right operations director would ask a lot of questions, and Monica doesn't give a lot of information. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to show up, because really in everyday life, I'm like that. I'm like, I'll just show up because I trust her. But what I learned from it is we weren't always programmed of like, what's next on the schedule, and can I fit in a 30-minute meeting with a client in between these things. And so I started doing the same thing. And so that October retreat, I told people nothing. And so, I mean, I was in a meeting even yesterday, and the guy I was meeting with said, Alex, who was at the retreat in October, he said he just trusted you, and he knew that you threw really bougie events, and thought that he would check it out. And him and his girlfriend came, and he didn't know what to expect. But then when he got back and he went back to work, and I was talking with one of his coworkers yesterday, he's like, he was so much lighter. And just like, even when he walked into the first meeting, and he was like, it was different. It was just different. He's like, I can't explain it to you. Like, you have to experience it, and you have to feel it. And he's like, I was a little like sketched out, because like she didn't send out an agenda with times. I just trusted the process. And he's like, I'm glad I did. And I see things very differently now. So Monica helped me see that you don't always have to know every detail and every time, that it's okay to not know and to still show up. And then you leave totally different, right? So thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome. You
and
know,
and I want to say something maybe superficial, but I think that it's important for a lot of people. Okay, so Masolas is a beautiful resort. It's of course they take very good care of food, and what they produce, they serve it, and they have great options. But you're not going to be starving. because they leave you every morning, they leave you something before breakfast. There's enough, more than enough delicious food the whole day. And this is something important because it's not that you will go fasting. You could go fasting if you want. They have all the resources to do that, but you don't have to, So this is something that it's important. And at least I love all these single details that they have, like living like a small breakfast, and if you go out and work out or walk by the beach, and then when you come back and there's these beautiful juices and fruit and small pastries or something, it's just amazing. I love that, and I wanted to say, because I know that some of you may be thinking about this kind of resort, and this is not.
No, no,
No,
trust me,
there's plenty
I
of
would
great
not
food.
be there. I would not.
The food's amazing. I did
No,
have somebody ask yesterday, he's like, are there cheeseburgers there? And can you like get French fries? And I'm like, they do have sweet potato fries. The sweet potatoes are grown on property. And, there is some of that food, but it is really about each food group. And they do have desserts and they're amazing and lovely. But it's just about learning what types of food, what do they do to your body? And some people react very well to some of these things, and sometimes we don't. But I know that when you're stressed and you're running, even if you're eating, how are you absorbing those nutrients, and are your cells getting enough rejuvenation? I mean, that's why I go and sit in a hyperbaric chamber twice a week when I'm in town, because we don't get enough oxygen. We don't stop and breathe. Now, every time I'm in a red light, my new thing is like I take really big 10 deep breaths at every red light. And so you just come up with these little things that help reset your nervous system. And I'm learning more and more about the nervous system. And it's amazing how you can be in chaotic situations. And for some reason, we are able to be the calm ones and we thrive in chaos. And it's weird, but somebody's got to do it, right? But then it's like our body internally is going through chaos. And so it's fine if we're managing the chaos, but then taking that time afterwards. Like many years ago, when every time we book a wedding, we take a portion of that budget that goes, and afterwards, if the girls want a day off, or if I go to the spa all day, and reset. And there's things with reflexology, and it's not just about going and getting a massage. There's certain case studies and medical things that are backed by the benefits of having these certain things. And so finally, in America, I'm from America, we're a little bit late to the game of understanding the benefits and why do we take the time to get a massage, or why do we take the time to do these things, and really understanding and slowing down and understanding the benefits of it. I think is something that people will really learn and be able to walk away with a completely different set of knowledge and tools. Because my whole thing is like, how can you get better if you have never done it, or if you're not surrounded by people who have done it? And that's where some of these business organizations have taught us that you should do these things, and then here's people who've done it, and then we learn from them. And that's why I'm so excited to like bring it into our industry, because if you look at hospitality, it's probably in my where I live, healthcare is the number one driver. Hospitality is the number two revenue driver. And if everyone in hospitality is just running ragged and not taking care of themselves, imagine if they could just show up a little bit better and sleep a little bit more. I'm learning so much about sleep and what it can do to you. Apparently, we're walking around, 20% of Americans are walking around at 20% living their life because they don't get enough sleep. And so now I'm like obsessed with trying to like get better sleep and my sleep score. And it can be like, stressful, but it's a reminder. And I do want to know, like, oh shoot, like I have an alarm every night. It's time to wind down and go to bed. Like my Oura ring tells me that. And some days I don't listen, but 80% of the time, if you do start listening to your body, but some of us, I didn't know how to unwind. I had no idea. And so these are the types of things that when you start to understand, hey, you're taking years off your life for real. And I mean, my dad passed away when he was under barely over 60. And now that I'm looking at all the research of sleep, I'm understanding why his body wasn't able to fight a disease off because the immune system was down from him working nights all the time. And so just understanding and doing better for yourself and your family and then your clients, you'll be able to walk away from this with somewhat of a framework that can help you think differently and give you tools that you didn't even know existed.
Exactly. And actually find what suits you best because, it's very important not to, you don't have to like read a book with instructions. You're going to be
Mhm.
surrounded by so many different ways of thinking, of understanding, of simply of knowledge. And your job is going to be simply to identify or try to identify which best suits you. And also, one thing that I would like to point out, which is very, very important, is that this retreat is for any hospitality pro and event planner at any stage of their business. Meaning that if you're a junior, perfect. Come, you're going to see a lot of, masters here. You're going to meet people. You can ask for advice. I mean, there's going to be loads of interactions, networking, and actually real talks. Okay. That's very, very important. But also, where at your point in your life you are. You have small kids. Are you not married? Are you like me, where our child they're over in university, so we have the empty nest. So you have to reinvent your life. And also business wise, are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Are you a solo? Do you have an enterprise? Do you have a big corporation? These are all things that come into the game and they're perfectly fit. And also, in which stage of your work balance life are you at? Are you starter, mid? Do you have a retirement plan? What's your exit? We have to think about all these things. And many of us, it's simply being on that hamster wheel and just living time to time, day by day, year by year. We got to get the sales going and not even thinking if you want to scale up, because most of planners want to scale up. They want super big budgets, they want luxury events. But is that really what you want? We're going to tell you what they are. Or maybe you decide to focus on something else, or even your retirement plan could be a totally different business. I'm working on my retirement plan. I call it my retirement plan, but when my YPOers understood about it, they said, okay, we want to invest in it because it's not a retirement plan for real. It's what I think retirement is. So creating like new passive incomes, different strategies, different things. Because in my stage of life, that's where I'm going. But each one of us is different. So having the tools of somebody telling you it's possible, these are the ways you can do it. See how you want to do it. Let's plan the thing together. Let's make the steps. That's how, for example, for the entrepreneurial side, we're going to be having Monica's version, put it that way, of the grow format adapted to hospitality and events. So
Tell
it's,
them what GROW stands for, Monica, the acronym.
oh, wait a second. I just call it grow. I know what it is, but I don't remember now. I have
Well,
to look.
it's a framework. It's a
It's a
framework.
framework. Wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Let-
It's an acronym that many people don't know what the acronym is. So
oh,
Monica
yes.
talk.
So the acronym stands for G stands for goal, so what you want to achieve. R is for reality, so it's the current situation. O is for options, so the possible solutions. And the W is for the will, for the way forward, which is an actionable steps that you can take.
So there's different frameworks that we teach. Monica focuses on, like you said, like getting to think on the business side and getting to think of what are the next steps, because again, we never slow down. We go from event to event to event to event to event, and we have to make ourselves an event. We have to. And like you said, Casey, if you don't do it by choice, life will present itself where it's going to hit you even harder if you haven't even thought about it, which is kind of what happened to me. I talk about self-care, and it's a whole acronym with self-care of who are your social people, and who are you spending your time with, and are you saying yes to the right type of clients that you're getting into a relationship with that oftentimes is well over a year sometimes. And then if you do that first event, do you want to continue to work with those types of families, and can they become life cycle clients for in the events industry? So these are all things that I learned through EO that I would have never have come up with on my own if older people, and this isn't about age either, because there's people in their 50s and 60s that worked a corporate job full time, and now they're getting into events because all their kids are gone. They're kind of bored. They're good at decorating, and they're just trying to find their way, and they're kind of doing it for fun, but they want to run a business. And so they're new in the industry, but they have a ton of life experience. And so they're able to share in a whole different way. And so we all end up learning from each other, and then figuring out, okay, how can we bring these types of things into our home and into our business, which again helps us show up better. And just remembering those words and what the acronyms are, it kind of makes you step back before you say yes to a project now, because things can look really good up front, but if you don't know the right questions to ask, you can get yourself into some really messy things sometimes. I'm just thinking from experience, and I'm thankful for the messiness because I've learned a lot. But if I had had people in our industry to lead me and guide me, or like an advocate that I could go to that wasn't going to judge me or call me stupid, then I probably would have done a lot better a lot quicker. Right. So it's a little bit of that too. And the other thing is, in these groups, it's all about confidentiality and creating a safe space to be vulnerable and just to be honest and not feel shameful about things, and turning your mindset into learning through those opportunities, rather than thinking, waking up and thinking like, my life sucks, this is terrible. It's like, oh my gosh, I have this opportunity, and how can my mindset help me be better? Because I guarantee you, if you're thinking it but you're trying to fake the happiness, your clients and your team, they feel it. They do feel it.
And I will go because I'm more or less in the same stage as Monica. And I love the way that this retreat is designed, even that the name, Release the Leader Within. Um, I think that there are so many questions that we have, young people and not so young people, about our business, about, because we see a lot of money, but most of the time the money just go through and we don't keep any of it because we don't have the right systems, and because we don't know, most of us, we are super creative people, and we don't want to know anything about money. And this is what I love about this project, is that it's not only that you will get, of course you're not going to get all the tools in a retreat to make your business a millionaire from night to day, but you, at least you will know what you are doing right, and what steps do you need to take based in other in other people life, business life, to take the right steps for you. And I think this is really, 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 really meaningful, because there's not going to be a retreat that will be change, that will change your life overnight. But I think that if you connect to the right group of people with the same, at least the same ethics as you have. And this is what, for sure, I know that you will find in this retreat. Then you will be able to listen amazing things to change your own life. So I think this is something, these kind of relationships stay forever. I can tell you another friend that Monica gave to me, that is Sarah Young, and I was able to talk with her a lot about business and about money the last time that we were together in RSVP. And it's great to be able to have the confidence to talk about these topics, because normally we just talk about how many amazing and famous clients do we have and where we have been around the world, but we don't talk about the real things. And I think that this is an open space, and this is what I love about this retreat.
Look, I so appreciate it, Kitsia, because you know that for me, I really value people. That has always been my core thing. And you're so right. When you find your right group, in fact, the idea with the retreat is in time to create really a community that stands for each other, that can help each other. No judgment is actually at the base of everything, because many times I know planners that went on burnout because of simple things that if they asked me, I would have told them exactly because I had the experience. And the same thing is like me when I have issues. I know I have friends in the industry that I can talk about business, I can talk about money, I can talk about a problem, I can talk really about something, and they're going to be helping me with tangible solutions, with connections, with contacts. I need a lawyer. I need this. I need to go in another country, or I need to find the supplier. There's many different levels. But when you feel that you're not judged, that you feel confident, and also feeling confident of who you are when you're stepping in, and not being afraid of being seen like weak or little or whatever because you're asking a question that everybody seems to be superstars. That's not the case. That's not the case. And you're going to be seeing how natural all of this comes, which is funny to say, but that's what it really is. It's
And
really
Monica,
a natural circle.
something that both of us, I think all of us really understand is a lot of people in our industry, they get into it because they're in a family business. And so Monica and I both come from working with our family and family businesses, and sometimes it gets messy because you don't all agree. And what I've learned is it's not that we don't agree, it's that our point of view is totally different, because I've been to different countries where my family hasn't. Some of them don't even have a passport. We're working on that. But it's like if you haven't had these experiences where you feel it, you understand it, it's like you can see beautiful places on Instagram, and then you go there and it's like, well, this isn't the story that I painted in my head. Like I saw this beautiful thing, but you look to the left and the right and it's disgusting. And so at this retreat, it's like, how do we learn how to ask more questions? And also, coming from a family business and working with family, we understand like how to create that close knit family and how to better communicate to where we see each other as people first, and we respect each other's point of view from it. And so, if anything, the retreat can open your mind. And we kind of are. I mean, we call ourselves a travel family. Like there's people that go to these conferences, which we go to these conferences and then we need a vacation from the conference because we learn all this amazing information. We make all these great, we meet all these people, we meet new friends, and then we all go back to work. And sometimes we don't talk to each other for 4 months. And then we see each other again. It's like, oh, my family, because we understand each other. But people ask, they're like, how do you get to be part of the travel family? And I'm like, well, talk to Monica, but she's the travel mom. But it's just like you have this intuition of this calmness of helping people. I don't even know if you realize it, but it's like you lead with the love because you do know what it's like, to be in a family business. And that's how I think we are all so tight, but it comes down to respect. And we're all so different. All of us are so different. But the thing that each of us, where we all are alike, is we love to learn and we love to do better for ourselves. And that's why there's 30 something of us in this group. Each of us is always respectful and grateful and thankful. We're never judging, and we're never saying, like, oh my God, that's so dumb. Like, why did you do that? We're not gossipy. It's like we really want to figure out together, what, let's help each other. Let's share. It's not about advice. I don't give advice. People are like, what's your advice? I'm like, I can share my experience with you. And if I don't have an experience, because I haven't experienced that, people come to me about divorce and then about their children. I'm like, well, I've been through some of these things, but I know somebody who's better suited to help talk to you. And then we connect people with people who we know have been through these hard things. So the connections to where we're like a real family, those are things, again, that they're priceless, and it really does change your life.
Yes, and to my IADWP community, please, 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 don't be afraid of the word wellness. Believe me, take time to yourself. You deserve it. And we have so many people that work so hard every day that deal with just in our travel agent community, where you deal with every single problem or every single decision some president from some country, from any country in the world is doing, and then you have to deal with all of them with your clients. So please take this time for yourself. This is about leadership, is about business, but you cannot do any of this if you don't start with yourself. So don't be afraid and don't feel guilty for giving you the time, for investing in your soul, in your mind.
We're keeping it small. It's 30 people. It's very intimate. It's not this big hula party. It will be a very different experience, but our industry needs this. Our industry needs it so badly, and we're so excited to be leading it. And Keitsia, thank you for like believing in us and just spending time together. I mean, you know what it's like. You have felt it. And it definitely has made a difference. And I'm excited for the IDWP community and to see who is going to be the first to really take that step forward. And then those 30 people, there will be a bond that will never, ever be able to be broken. And so we're keeping it intimate for a reason, so that people will feel that it is a very safe space to come and share and to learn.
I
Exactly.
know. So please remember us, the dates, and what do we need to do to register.
DM
So,
us. We'll send the info.
yes, anyhow, the dates are 2nd to the 6th of August in Marsolas. And once you email us, we'll send you all the information. There's going to be a price for early birds, as well as if you want to stay in a double or a single. And the price is all inclusive. This means that it includes from the minute you step out of the aircraft in Cabo to the minute you're going to be leaving again, or if you want to stay extra days, that's another thing. But accommodation and 5-star, all meals, all activities, any resource, anything, everything is actually included.
My recommendation is, I know that of course, it's more expensive if you stay in a single occupancy, but my experience, and again, I appreciate this because normally when I travel with my team, we always share to split the cost and everything. And being able to be by myself in one of these amazing, beautiful rooms that they are like a palace is just something that gave me a lot of time to think, a lot of clarity. So that will be, if it's possible for you in your budget, to stay in single occupancy. If not, share and don't miss it. But that will be my advice.
And if you have questions, like DM us or email us and let us know. Like if you have some more questions about it before you commit, like please ask. And we'll be able to get you your answers that will help you make a decision.
Okay, so thank you very much, ladies.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Kitsia, for having us. It's always a huge, huge pleasure. And you've been in it from day one when we were sitting in late night, having a glass of wine and talking about these ideas.
In Mayakoba, of course, I remember.
And now it's coming to life. And I'm so
Amazing.
excited. I can't wait to see you
Perfect.
guys. We get to
We
see each
will
other
see you
very
guys.
soon.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.